Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, I am absolutely pumped to unpack a story that perfectly blends high-stakes, ancient mythological action with some incredibly deep, timeless philosophy. We're going to be looking at a classic episode from the Mahabharata, featuring the legendary hero Bhima and his quest for the mythical Saugandhika Lotus. Okay, let's dive right in, because at its core, this epic tale actually starts with a question we can all relate to. How far would you go to get your spouse the absolute perfect flower? For Bhima, one of the mighty Pandava brothers, the answer is very, very far and into some intensely dangerous territory. Section 1. The Saugandhika Lotus Quest. So here's the setup for our narrative. Our hero Bhima, who is the son of Pandu and brother to Yudhishthira the Just, has arrived at the Jujube named Vasala, traveling with his brothers. And it's here that the wind carries the sweet scent and form of a really rare, excellent Saugandhika lotus. Panchali, Bhima's faultless wife, is just completely captivated by it. She tells him she wants these magnificent flowers in abundance. Now Bhima, being a fiercely devoted husband, instantly vows to fulfill her wish. He sets off on this hyper-focused mission to procure the beautiful blooms, completely undeterred by whatever might be lying ahead.
Section 2. Guardians of the Lake.
Now, as you might guess, in epic poetry, you can't just stroll up and pick a magical flower without hitting a major roadblock. The Rakshasas quickly surround him and deliver a very strict warning. Addressing Bhima as Rikodora, they make it crystal clear that this lake is the private sporting region of Kuvera, the Lord of Treasures. They explain that even gods, Gandharvas, Apsaras, and celestial sages need direct permission from the Yaksha chief just to drink or sport there. Mortals, or as they put it, men subject to death, absolutely cannot sport here under any circumstances. The Rakshasas boldly declare that any unlawful attempt to take the flowers is going to lead to his certain destruction. Without prior permission, he won't get so much as a single glance at a lotus.
What's really fascinating here is the profound philosophical conflict this sets up over who truly owns nature. On one side, you have the Rakshasas' view. The lake is Kuvera's private, exclusive sporting ground, and trespassing mortals will literally be destroyed. On the other side, we have Bhima's view. This lake flows naturally from mountain cascades, and therefore, it belongs to all creatures equally.
Section 3. The Warrior's Moral Code. You might be wondering, looking at this situation, why doesn't Bhima just politely ask Kuvera for the flowers and save everyone a whole lot of trouble? Well, the crucial point is Kshatriya morality. Bhima states that Kshatriyas, the warrior class, never beseech or beg anybody. He calls this the eternal morality, a code he just flatly refuses to break. For Bhima, asking a lord for access to a natural resource is basically equivalent to begging, and his honor simply will not allow that. And he backs this up with a pretty brilliant supporting argument. He points out the lake's origin, stating, "It hath not been excavated in the mansion of Kuvera. Therefore, it belongeth equally to all creatures." Essentially, he's arguing that a natural mountain cascade is a public good. It's not private property belonging solely to Vaishravana, the Lord of Wealth. Since it's nature's creation, why on earth should he beg another being for its bounty?
Section 4. The Battle for the Blooms.
Well, as you can probably imagine, this high-minded philosophical debate doesn't last very long. It instantly breaks down into physical violence, as Bhima, totally tired of the talk, just plunges right into the water anyway. The rapid escalation goes exactly like this. First, the Rakshasas start hurling angry verbal abuse at him. Second, Bhima completely ignores them and plunges further and further into the lake. Third, the fierce Krodhavasas realize words aren't working, so they rush him in absolute wrath, brandishing lances, axes, and whatever weapons they have. And finally, Bhima turns and raises his massive golden-plated mace. Just picture the sheer chaos on the banks of this serene lake for a second. The rolling-eyed Rakshasas are swarming him from all sides, screaming this absolutely terrifying threat. "Seize him, bind him, hew him, we shall cook Bhimasena and eat him up." The life or death stakes are suddenly very real, and these guards are fully intent on turning this trespassing mortal into their next meal. No joke. But man, the Rakshasas made a massive miscalculation here. We have to remember that Bhima is no ordinary mortal. He was begotten by Vayu, the wind god, in the womb of Kunti. He is heroic, incredibly energetic, deeply devoted to virtue and truth, and basically incapable of being vanquished by enemies. Raising a golden mace that rivals the weapon of Yama, the god of death himself, Bhima easily deflects all their tactical maneuvers and literally breaks the arms of his enemies.
The result? Absolute devastation. In just the opening moments of the clash, Bhima slaughters more than 100 of the foremost Rakshasas right there on the banks of the lake. It is a stunning, overwhelming display of martial prowess that just completely wrecks the defenders before the rest of them even fully grasp what hit them.
Seeing this immense, literally unstoppable strength, the morale of the defenders entirely breaks. Beaten and pierced, the remaining Krodhavasas quit the field in absolute terror. They flee into the sky in total confusion, retreating towards the Kailasa cliff, much like the mythological Daityas and Danavas fleeing from the king of gods, Sakra. The sheer, epic scale of this aerial retreat really emphasizes just how overwhelmingly powerful Bhima's onset actually was.
Section 5. Kuvera's Unexpected Reaction. So, with the battlefield cleared, we transition into the aftermath of this incredible clash. But first, what is our victorious hero up to? Well, having conquered the enemy, Bhima calmly returns to his original objective. He plunges back into the lake, drinking the waters, which are described as being like nectar. This instantly and fully restores his energy and strength. And then, he just peacefully falls to plucking and gathering those excellently fragrant Saugandhika lotuses, exactly like he promised his wife. Meanwhile, up in the heavens, there's this wild juxtaposition happening. The terrified, defeated Krodhavasas present themselves before their boss, the Lord of Wealth. They give an exact, breathless account of Bhima's incredible prowess and strength in the fight. They are undoubtedly expecting Kuvera to be furious, right? I mean, a mortal just trespassed on his private estate and slaughtered his guards. But instead, Kuvera simply smiles.
Kuvera's response is actually incredibly serene. He tells his birth guards, "Let Bhima take for Krishna as many lotuses as he likes. This is already known to me." Quick side note here, he refers to Panchali as Krishna, which is another of her names. Kuvera, being a divine lord, already possessed the foresight to know this was going to happen. He peacefully accepts Bhima's actions and retroactively grants the permission that Bhima's strict warrior code prevented him from asking for in the first place. Pretty cool, right?
Section 6. Ancient Lessons on Nature. This beautiful resolution brings us to our final takeaway, where we can extract some truly timeless ancient lessons from this mythic narrative. Taking the permission of their lord, the Rakshasas actually renounce their anger entirely. They return to the lake, and instead of a bloody battlefield filled with hostility, they find a lone Bhima just disporting an absolute delight among the waters and the flowers. It is this incredibly stark, poetic shift from a chaotic, violent bloodbath just moments prior to a joyful, serene ending where man and nature are perfectly in sync. And this leaves us with a genuinely powerful question to ponder today. Does nature truly belong to anyone, to be hoarded and guarded behind private gates? Or is a mountain cascade a shared bounty for all creatures to enjoy equally? It's honestly amazing how Bhimasena's ancient philosophical argument, forged in the fires of Kshatriya morality, continues to resonate so deeply with our modern understanding of public natural resources. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I hope this helped you grasp the incredible depths of this epic tale. Keep asking great questions, and I'll catch you on the next one.